Hey, look at him.
Yo, how are you, brother?
Look at him. Wow, what a looker. How's it going, bro?
Are we in the dungeon? Is this a production room? Is it the vocal booth? Where are we hanging out?
Yeah. I do my mixing in here. It's like a mix room, so.
Okay. Very
Yeah,
cool.
we're like vampires over here. I like it dark, man. I need a it's a vibe.
Yeah, okay. So Daniel, I'm gonna try and not botch your last name. Laskiewicz?
Perfect.
Okay, cool. And your friends and neighbors call you DL, or where they tell you to get the hell off their lawn.
Yeah. That actually started because on tour there's always so many Daniels, and like and somebody would be like, "Hey, Dan," and like 20 guys would whip around, so it's easier. DL works.
Yeah, nice. Right on. Well, off the bat, man, congratulations on the success of the song Lifeline. I mean, there's just so much writing on this, and it's been a turbulent several years for all of us, but especially the Bad Wolves camp. And I have to say, man, listening to Lifeline and listening to your vocals in particular, I have to give you mad props and compliments to one of my very favorite singers of all time, and that's Howard Jones of Killswitch Engage. I think you both have very similar vocal styling, so love it. And Bad Wolves had kind of this meteoric rise to fame. How long did it take for you to accept the job when they offered it to you? Because that had to be like, well, let me think about this career move.
Yeah. Especially, because I think really importantly, kind of going into it for everybody really, and the band recognized this as well. It's like, I didn't need to do this. I wanted to do this. So that was very important going in. And, even with that being said, I wasn't a shoo-in from the get-go. We knew each other, and we were, it seemed like the shoe fit and everything. But I think, moving forward, we all agreed, really, the band and I, that they take that opportunity to just kind of see what's out there in terms of talent. And, because although it's, like you mentioned, a turbulent time, and it's kind of crazy to, especially this far in your career, to replace a lead singer. It's also a really exciting time for the band too, and they really kind of get the chance to stretch their legs a little bit and possibly try things that they haven't done in the past, and that's exactly what we've done on this record. So
wow, very, very cool. Now, did you walk into a blank palette with this album, or were there some leftovers from previous sessions years and years ago? Or has everything been brand new?
So it's really, in general, there's always a creative process going on with any one of the guys in the band. So we're all always writing. But with that being said, just by the time I kind of came into the fold, I would say that they were about halfway done with the record.
Okay.
And at that point, really the collaborative process between the band and I really started to take place when I came out to LA to track vocals for the record. And that's really when even songs that were kind of put together before I kind of came to the fold by the guys, we even put those songs under a microscope at that point, and really just kind of tailored them to my vocal, because I bring something kind of stylistically to the table, something new to the band. I have a little more of a pop kind of R&B vocal, and we were able to utilize that in songs like Springfield Summer, for example. And like I said, it was really important for us to maintain the integrity of the band. Really what Bad Wolves is at its core, it's a metal band that has, these big soaring hooky choruses. And we just wanted to kind of run with that and just maybe add another layer on top of that, and not just stay true to what Bad Wolves really is.
Okay, and to springboard on that, and this is a question that I always hated during a job interview, but I've got to ask it. Feel free to answer as long or as short-winded as you want. What is it that you bring to the table? Aside from having a relationship there, that no other candidate for singer of Bad Wolves could bring, do you think?
Well, I'll do my best to try and speak for them. But I think, a kind of a big point that was important to them was the fact that I do work behind the scenes and do the kind of creative stuff, and my producer background. And I think, it was really important for them to have a guy that, can kind of self-maintain that stuff and if any one of the guys comes up with an instrumental, they at this point they can feel free to send it my way, and I can track vocals on it that night. Track, signed, sealed, delivered, edited, and send it back to them the next day. And I think that was important for them, to not have to rely on outside sources anymore to record the stuff. And we're pretty we're a pretty self-sufficient band at this point, so it's kind of cool. I don't think any of us have been in this kind of situation.
That's awesome. It gives you some freedom for sure.
Yeah.
The catalog, there's some pretty tough parts, whether it's the really heavy screaming or some of the soaring melody lines that you mentioned. And I would imagine you guys are on the precipice of getting ready to start rehearsing for a tour, maybe 2022 or maybe earlier.
Correct. Yep.
What's the hardest song for you to reproduce in a live setting with your vocal style?
I don't want to be cocky or anything, but they all come pretty naturally to me, honestly. Yeah, I think that was probably a big selling point too, getting me in the band. It was just like it just worked.
Okay.
It wasn't there wasn't a lot of there's not a lot of training when it comes to bringing me into this band. It was, even with the previous material, the former singer and I, we kind of sit in that same register. So I think it was just a really kind of organic thing to kind of get me in. And yeah, man, I mean, until I go live and we see what's up, we have rehearsed and everything. And apparently it sounded good enough for me to get the gig. So
yeah. I mean,
all right.
And once you're doing, the full set 3 nights a week, and then a day off, and then another 3 nights, and then, doing radio acoustic things, hope to God those return someday. It could all change out on the road. You've been a songwriter and a producer for a lot of great metal bands over the years. How much or how little did you contribute to the songwriting of the previous album, Nation?
Very little. Yeah, I just kind of scratched the surface on that, did a little co-write with them. But it was just more than that. It was really just a kind of a reason to kind of catch up with all the guys in the band. And I really think that was another kind of turning point where we all started kind of talking more and just keeping in contact, especially Doc and I. And yeah, that was, it was just kind of a cool little reintroduction to each other.
Your experience as lead guitarist and founder of Acacia Strain, I would assume that certainly helped your career path. Are we going to see you pick up an axe out on tour? Are you going to be throwing down some leads? Who knows?
I mean, yeah, never say never, right? If the application fits, if there are songs on the record that we could utilize a 3 guitar part, but as I mentioned, I'm pretty excited to kind of get away from that duty for a minute and just really focus on being a singer and put the freaking mic in my pocket and give high fives and maybe have a sip or two and really just have a little more freedom on stage. So I'm looking forward to that.
There's an old saying of too many cooks in the kitchen. Considering your production background, did you ever feel that there were too many cooks in the kitchen working on the new album Dear Monsters?
Oh my God. Not particularly in Dear Monsters at all. It always just made sense. Like I had said, every guy in this band is a producer on top of working with producers and songwriters. And so it's just, it's almost annoying how easy it is with this group. Like everybody's just so talented and it's a really great vibe. But with that being said, in many other situations, not Bad Wolves related, there's usually too many cooks in the kitchen. And I'm sure that's where that term was coined,
Yeah, no
the soup
doubt.
comes out pretty crappy when there's too many guys putting shit in the soup.
I've often used that analogy for friends that are in local bands or whatever, and they have a home production studio, and I'm like, man, sometimes you can just add too many ingredients into the soup, and you have this wonderful biss that all of a sudden just turns out to be vomit by the time you're done with all your trickery in the studio. Man, just keep it simple.
Yeah.
For Christ's sake.
Crap soup.
Yeah, no doubt. What's unique about the album Dear Monsters that fans might be surprised by? I mean, what does the evolution of Bad Wolves look like? The album's just out, so people are just starting to get into it and dive deeper than the first single.
Sure. Like I had mentioned, I think with a song like Springfield Summer, that's just one of those tracks really that I think the rest of the guys in the band, but I definitely know for a fact, John and I, we've always really wanted to do a song like that, even in, previous efforts and stuff.
Hmm.
But it was just, it's just the kind of song that you can't do with just anybody. So, and I think that's one of the beautiful things about Bad Wolves is like, there's no right or wrong way to do anything. We can do the heaviest stuff that we want to do, and we can do the softest stuff that we want to do. I think, especially with me kind of coming into the band and everything, that was just a big kind of moving forward point that, we kind of all agreed on, that we're just going to first and foremost write a record that, we can be fans of, like truly, through and through, that we can kind of take that outside perspective. And I, even to this day, I listen to the record and, I don't even like listen to myself singing. It just seems like something else, we are really actually fans of this album. And, that's the coolest part about it, man. So yeah, with a song like Springfield Summer, it's just one of those songs that we really had a chance to kind of test our writing chemistry, even kind of remotely, because it was done after the fact. John and I kind of put that song together after we felt like we were done with the record, which we really weren't. Like I said, that creative process just keeps rolling, and it was one of those songs that kind of came together organically, and it's one of those songs that's in that kind of major key, and it's almost like a crossover pop country song. So yeah, very exciting, something we've always wanted to do, and something that the band may have not tried in the past, just stylistically just didn't work or something. So
very cool.
New flavor.
We're excited about that. You spend so much time and under so much pressure, and like you mentioned earlier, thank God you're surrounded by consummate professionals that are utility players. There has to be somebody or something to let the pressure valve off on occasion. So I'm curious, who would you say is the prankster in the band? And if you don't have an answer, it's probably you.
Man, no, honestly, I really think it's everybody. Yeah, like I even mentioned, at that first rehearsal, we all just kind of, it feels like a bunch of, that camaraderie is there, that chemistry is there. So like, it's like, we were all first 5 minutes of being together, we're all talking crap to each other, just having laughs. So, I think that will maybe reveal itself a little more once we're on the road, and we'll see who's making the coffee in the morning and who's putting stuff in people's shoes, and we'll see what's up.
It'll be fun to ask that question a year down the line from now, and find out who is the prankster on tour and who pulled the biggest prank that got the biggest laugh from everybody else.
Oh yeah.
Listen, I'm a big fan of Lejean Witherspoon and I like to call them the Seven Dudes. Who's your favorite rock vocalist out there right now?
You just named them.
Oh, really?
Yeah, man. I've said it till I'm blue in the face. Yeah, even my kind of first introduction into kind of rock and metal, even growing up, was that first Seven Dust album. Because even before, as a kid, I didn't listen to a lot of rock and metal. It wasn't in my environment. So I listened to a lot of pop and R&B growing up, a lot of Michael Jackson, a lot of that kind of stuff. And then, Seven Dust was actually one of those first bands that I heard my sister down the hallway listening to that first Seven Dust album with Black and Bitch on it and stuff. And I was just like, oh my God, it like changed my life. Like the guitar tone and then like, kind of like a Bad Wolves thing where they incorporate the really like groovy, heavy stuff with just the soaring melodic parts. And I was sold forever. So, since then I've always been a huge Seven Dust fan, especially of Clint even too, the dynamic between Lejean's voice and Clint's voice. It's like, man, how can you beat that?
Yeah. Okay. So switching gears a little bit to your personal life, some of the craziest friends that I have are former Mormons. My wife is a preacher's daughter. You spent your formative years in Catholic school. Did that make you more or less evil?
I think because I didn't have the opportunity to screw off so much as a kid. Once I got out of Catholic school, I was kind of a little trickster. I was a little turd after I left. Once I got, because there was no like private high school, so like you go, like I did K through 9 or whatever, Catholic school, and then like you plucked right out of that and put into the public school system, and I kind of wild out a little bit for sure those 4 years of high school. So
if or when you have kids of your own, do you think you'd put them in a Catholic school or a private school?
I have 2 kids. Yeah,
Oh,
I have a
you do?
13-year-old and a 6-year-old, and they go to the same school that I went to.
No kidding.
Believe it or not. Yeah, man. And you know, even upon, because my son was the first one, obviously, to go to that school, and I walked back through the door with my children, and there's some of the same teachers that still work there, and they were like, they were just like, wait a minute.
Yeah.
Is this the same Laskiewicz? So
yeah, you're
cool.
Either here to blow up the school or give us a large donation of some sort, or no.
Some kind of forgiveness donation. Yeah.
I'm curious about what kind of personality you are in your private life. The perfect Saturday night for you, is it slinging whiskey with the boys or Netflix and chill?
Netflix and chill, man. I'm definitely a homebody. I have no reason to want to escape my house. I love my home life. I love my family. I have a beautiful wife. So yeah, man, we just hang out. We just do our thing. We're always so busy, and especially now more than ever. So
okay,
I'm a quiet guy. Yeah.
One last question for you, and I know I alluded to it a little bit earlier, but tour plans 2022 or earlier? When can we get a glimpse of the band live in action, do you think?
So, you know, I don't know how much detail I can really go into without getting in trouble. I don't. Oh, well, sorry.
There we go.
Freaking battery there. There we go. Oh, I got you. There we go. Yeah. So I don't know how much detail I can really go into on that, because I don't want to get spanked. But
sworn to secrecy. But it's coming.
So it's coming. Absolutely. There are some plans in the very near. Actually, you know what? To be honest with you, I think I can say this, that with the album release tonight, tomorrow, whatever. I'm pretty sure with the album release, there's going to be a tour announcement as well. So
okay,
not too long to wait on that one. Yeah, and we're definitely going to be hitting the ground sprinting. 2022 is going to be a hell of a year for Bad Wolves.
A Bad Wolves year. The new album Dear Monsters available right now wherever you steal your music. And congratulations again, DL, man. I can't wait to meet you in the flesh and see you out on the road, brother.
Man, thank you so much for having me. I appreciate you.
Absolutely, man. Have a great rest of your day and a good weekend. Okay, man.
You too, bro.
All right.
Hey, happy Halloween.
Thanks. You too.